Hey there, Spencer Combs here. Are you working on something really hard, doing a lot of things, working hard, trying to follow your feedback, getting some results here and there, and really trying to get somewhere, and then have somebody shoot it down? I don't know, maybe a family member, maybe somebody, a coworker, somebody in your environment, sphere of influence, who knows? Somebody just totally just ripped the whole thing down. Does that happen to you? Maybe you're having that happen right now. Maybe it's something you've happened in the past and you're still holding on to. What I thought is that this might be a good opportunity for me to kind of share with you a little bit of a strategy, if you will, on how to deal with that kind of situation, because you've got to be able to move forward from your setbacks. You've got to have a focus that's bigger than your circumstances. You've got to have a resolve inside of you, and a purpose that's going to drive you beyond the circumstance, and you've got to have action. You can't just sit around and talk about it or just let it blow by. You've got to keep moving forward. So thought I would just kind of do this, and this really kind of got stimulated from an email. Really got me, it kind of turned up a little bit, because I thought it was kind of awesome that it all went out, but it wasn't the right delivery. The message was probably receivable at the heart of it. So that's why I wanted to kind of do this and help everybody in a large scale. This stuff goes on the internet, so people all over the world will be able to, watch this video from this one particular thing, this one little stimulus. So in any event, it's very common. It's very common. And in the travels that I have, working with people, I will talk to someone, and one of the first things I end up having to talk about is the fact is, when you start changing what we call your ecology, when you start doing things and working towards things, and if it doesn't match up with how people think it should be, you're going to get some feedback. And that's exactly what it is. So when you get that feedback, what do you do with it? That criticism, sometimes it's not constructive. That criticism and of course this is not scripted, by the way, if you haven't noticed. But that work that people are trying to do to create a challenge in your life, because they want to push the edges, they want to really see how things are going. And the true test is how you respond to that. How do you respond to that? So first thing I want to say is, when you're dealing with that kind of a situation, somebody gives you some criticism. I personally got it from family early on in my coaching career. And I got it in other areas too, but how do you handle that? First thing I want to tell you, and probably not what you want to hear, but take it for what it's worth. Look at the feedback you're getting and listen deeper. Don't just pay attention, don't just automatically assume or get defensive. Stop for just a moment and reflect on it. Now, in our world, we call that disassociating. So jump out of the situation for a minute and look at it from an outside perspective. How much validity is in the situation? Is there any validity? Sometimes people are just spouting off because they're coming from their frame of reference. That's a whole different conversation. But you know what? Where's the validity in the situation? If there is any, how do you address it? How do you change it? It can be used for fuel to move you forward faster than you can ever imagine. If you get too embedded and put too much energy in the friction, instead of letting that frustration drive you forward, you're not going to go anywhere. So use it for fuel. You get this stuff going on, and you trust me, use it for fuel. Take the feedback for what it is. If there's any validity to it whatsoever, then do something about it. Second thing, though, is a lot of times when people throw things at you, usually it's not the smoke screen they're throwing up at you. People are using what they already know. They're doing the best they can with what they have. And that modality of just throwing things at you could be that's the only way they know how to get what they really want. And the trick to that then is to find out, if you as a leader understand this, what is it that they really want? Stop and ask them. Or ask yourself, what are they really looking for here? In this particular situation I'm thinking of, this person was looking for a higher standard, trying to help everyone in the organization do better and get more. That's what they're really after. And so you try to figure out better ways to do that. On the other side of the table, it was all about resourcefulness. And this is an economically difficult time. How do you handle this? How do you get more material to the organization? How do you do that? So we got this little conflict, a little friction going on. And how do you handle that? Well, again, when you get that criticism going on, reach in, like Dr. Covey refers to, and seek first to understand, which means you got to keep your mouth shut for just a minute and listen. So when you listen in, figure out and find the deeper situation. When you give them that emotional air, suddenly the situation is over. And I'm going to promise you, the person that sent that particular email that I happen to be a part of, it wasn't directed to me for the most part, but that person's probably going to be watching this and listen to this. You know, I would encourage that person. I would encourage all of us to really pay attention. What is it I'm really after? What am I really after? It's a wonderful question to ask, because sometimes we just go through the hypnosis of patterns, just constantly doing the same thing over and over and over. What am I really after? And then you want to ask yourself, well, how would I know if I had that? And construct a more synergistic solution on how to get there instead of just spouting off. But when you're looking at this, and right now we're talking about, you know, you get criticism. I work with a lot of real estate agents. You know, and a lot of these newer agents, they come into the business, they see the other ones that are doing really well. You got family members and friends, you know, that don't necessarily believe that they have the experience necessary to do real estate, do their business. And how do you get around that? How do you get around that criticism where you haven't had the experience? You can't have the experience without taking the action. You can't have the experience without moving forward. You're going to have that detractor. So don't worry about the experience. Don't worry about the people that have to pull you down. You keep moving forward. So step one, obviously, is take it for face value. Step two, search deeper to figure out exactly what it is that they're really after. And step three, take the feedback, put it back into your planning, and take action. Don't let it just sit around. And when I say take action, the appropriate action isn't always necessarily just confront the energy. A lot of times it's just flow with the energy, move along with it. The most flexible piece of a system is the piece that controls the system. So if you're easily broken, I promise you, you're not going to get anywhere. I could go on and on with this. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to do that here. I'm sure we're going to post it on YouTube or somewhere. Or feel free to contact us through the website at spencercombs.com. This is something that really charges me, because I'm always working with people who are looking to make change. I'm always working with, that's why most people hire me. They're trying to get somewhere. They're trying to change something in their life, trying to get control of their life, or they're trying to create massive results in their life, whatever that situation is. This bothers me because I know for a fact that this is a piece that everybody that ever grows and anybody that ever does anything massive in their life and really lives their life in a huge level of passion and energy, they're going to draw some fire. I promise they're going to draw some fire. Let it go. Ride with that power. Ride with it. Don't just let it defeat you. That's the distinction. That's one of the distinctions between high performers and low performers. Do what you need to do. Take it in. Take it for face value. Reach in and figure out exactly what they're after, and what is the end result they're really after, and then how do you take that feedback and reincorporate it into your action. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear back from you, and we'll go from there. Thanks.